Kevin, it felt like a bit of an attritional day at times today, but what's your assessment of how it's gone?
It's been a solid day, and you're dead right, it was attritional. The wicket had a little bit of moisture in it, and I thought we bowled really well in the first session. Then maybe in the last two sessions we probably didn't target the stumps as much as we would have wanted to. However, to bowl them out for 226 and go at 2.74s, that's a solid day for us.
Yeah, it was a perfect start really with those 2 wickets early on with 15 on the board. With them getting 226, you mentioned it there, is that sort of around par, would you say?
Yeah, we think that's probably a par score. But it's one of those wickets that you have to work very hard, whether you're batting or you're bowling, and it's when your concentration has to stay up for the whole of the time, and you can see there by the way the Hampshire have scored, and the amount of hard work that we've had to put in, it is going to be a really tough few days to come.
It was the seamers who did the damage again today, as it has been for the last couple of games really. Let's touch on Luke, Dane and Brett, your sort of frontline seamers. How impressive you've been with them in the last 2 games as well as today, and how much vindication is it for you as a coach as well for all the work that's been put in?
No, not the last 2 games, for this whole season. This has been a testament to the hard work they've put in the winter. So they've obviously been working incredibly hard in the gym with Pricey, and then Pipey's obviously looked after them physio wise. My job's been pretty easy because they're fantastic pros, and the challenges that I set them they go with easily. But all I would say is that they've set some really tough targets for themselves, and they pride themselves on being able to match those, and they've done it all the way through the campaign. Obviously in the first 10 games, obviously T20, 100 for some of them, and obviously now they're having to dig really deep. After a really tough season, they're coming through really strong, and it's tough. I promise you, getting to this stage in the season and for them to put in what they've put in shows how hard they've worked. That last game was a great example of that. They gave everything on that last day, and they gave everything again today.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question really. Obviously, as those watching on just see numbers on a scorecard really, those overs racking up, but it must be hard to sort of articulate how much guts it does take to go out and perform game after game after a long season.
It does. It takes a lot of resilience, a lot of guts, and a lot of recovery time. So as soon as they finish a game, we haven't been bowling in between the games. They go and they're going through all of their full recovery, whether it's massage, whether it's the right nutrition, and then we're just making sure that we get them as polished up as we can for the game. And all I can say is they've been so professional. I've been very proud of them.
And a word on Joey Evison. Obviously his last first team appearance was that Durham game where he did take 5 wickets, a little injury setback, but has returned pretty well today and maybe could have had more wickets. Yeah,
so he had his injury setback, and we've tried to get Joey back quicker than we probably normally would. It wasn't a bowling injury, so it was caused when he fielded. He got a little tear in his side from fielding, so we were able to just accelerate that a little bit more than we normally would. But that still shows how tough Joey is. He's got back into the second team. He got 7 for against Leicester this week, and then he's come in here and he's done a really good job. Remember, it's tough to come in when you've got 3 guys who have been performing as they have. You're on a wicket that he's doing a little bit, so you can feel a little bit more pressure with that. But I was really pleased with what Joey did there. He never looks out of place. He always comes in and looks the fantastic cricketer that he is, and he will only get better from here.
Speaking of not looking out of place, Steven Mullaney for the last couple of games has maybe had a backseat role, stealing overs here and there, but he bowled beautifully today and was a big part of that second session particularly.
Yeah, he did, and it's tough to come in and do that. Steve works, so when you imagine he's the captain, he's got to work on his batting, because that's obviously his major skill. But in the winter, he always books in for his one-to-ones. He comes and works tirelessly on it. I'm always nagging him to come in and bowl his overs, which is tough. He goes away to the 100. Those overs drop down. We've got to then try and get them up. But he's been incredibly professional in trying to keep those numbers going.
And just a quick word on that batting performance in that last sort of 45 minutes. Not easy to bat when it's darkening up, and obviously lost Haas, but a pretty good showing from Ben and Ben all the same.
Yeah, that's a great finish. It was getting darker. The lights are on. And that's a great time to bowl. When you've only effectively got 10 overs to come in and bowl, you can just rock in as hard as you can and attack the boys. Obviously, we were unlucky to lose Haas, but then you watched the 2 Bens do their thing. It was great to see.